Well, let's get into it here for the final game of the day. I can hear people making spooky ghost noises in the back, maybe because things are getting a little bit dark, but things are getting real here as we're able to go into our fourth game, our final game here for the day for Group B. Let's head over to the commentators.
And here we go then, last match of the day for Group B before we roll into day number 3. And it will be a nail-biter because when tomorrow is all said and done, we have our top 16 grand finalists moving on for what will be the big money match. My name is Sims, this is Avenger. Martin is playing Path. It's not the cruelest thing in the world, but certainly will be a little bit harder for those teams that like to loot more towards the north and the eastern side. And it will actually be ENCE who's one of them. And look who's with them. I see Zoekt and Naam also going towards Zaki.
It's a little bit of an adaptive drop there. I like to see it, but Saki is not to share. But I have another question for you. Do you think we're going to see another military game?
I don't know.
This group hasn't had one yet, so do you think they deserve one?
I think everyone deserves an island match now and again, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Keep them on the toes.
Just not 50% of your matches, please. But we'll see that. InsideGames, Northern Lights, and TSM is going to be jumping out here the later stages of this plane, but TSM is going to be sailing, sweeping just towards Milta. InsideGames, they're going towards Novo. They're going to be doing that. That's a nice adaptive drop as well. G2 with the G2 split, or if you're in the other lobby, the Desperado split. For us, they're going to be taking the Dirt Road, or the Raptor Road as some call it, and they're going to be going towards the northeast. They're going to be going somewhere else to loot. You're definitely not going to be sharing with G2. Jokers down with Ferry Pier, FaZe Clan as well with the adaptive drop with this plane path. And we're going to have a very nice circle here, just a bit further south than we had the last game. EB here, he's been knocked. I think he fell off. He cut his wires too early from his parachute. He's going to be knocked.
You guys didn't see that, but Martin actually did the cutting, swiping action as well while he said it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Very descriptive.
Oh, I actually didn't realize I was doing that.
Slice.
Yeah, so the gestures are coming out. Well, it looks like easy for ENCE. They're going to be having an easy rotation towards Servany probably, and they're going to stop there. They're going to take all that. They don't want to share anything with Zoekt and Naam. Zoekt and Naam, they're going to be taking all of the Sark loot here to themselves. Lots of cars on that road, so Zoekt and Naam is probably also going to be having a few cars still left, even though ENCE, they are going to be taking 3 away from them. There's a lot of spawns on that. And the rotation is going to be quite easy coming. They're probably going to just be crossing one of the 3 bridges that are close to Judge Pole.
They're actually going back to their home territory, which is fair play. They're even leaving Severny, which I'm actually quite surprised at. It's questionable. They could go in there, loot it out, and just get geared up to the 9s and then crack on. But
why not just loot one guy? Like one guy loot. Well, it looks like
it's really obscure why they've left Mikaz back there as well. Clearly, he's just kind of the alert system to keep a tabs on where Zoekt and Naam's actually going to go. But honestly, I think they could have done fine in Severny. Clearly, don't trust it and want to crack on. Do what you want, boys. These are your Season 1 Phase 1 champions. So I'm not going to question anything. I'm just a mere caster. Tiny little bit of water in play on this circle, but not too much to do any damage to some of these teams. Apocalypse extend away from for us and just in the realms of G2, so he needs to be rather careful that it doesn't encroach on their position, or they might decide to strike. With a solo player like that as well, you're going to be in all kinds of trouble if they do decide to push on you. TSM, usual spot. Milta, happy days for them. No one really needs a challenge. No one really needs to do much. It will be a bit more difficult getting inside this circle. They was, at some point, we've seen a couple of teams where they decided to go into Sosnovka and basically re-rotate around from the opposing side. It can be safe. In this case, it won't be, as you do have 2 teams on there, IG and NLT. Waiting with open arms, you'd expect NLT to make the bridge push. However, Jokers may be aware that there are 2 teams over there and take full advantage to lock down that bridge and deny any entrance points. Again, you could do something weird and wonderful with an entrance point from Prim. There's a few different ways you can do this one with the circle being as it is and 2 teams over on Sosnovka. There's plenty of boats to play with and multiple angles that you can actually basically insert yourself into this circle on the western front.
Also, we see Gemty already leaving Pochinki. He's going to be taking one of the most centered compounds, looting up, but also keeping this spot. This is what we saw ENCE do earlier with the same kind of central compound that we often see Liquid take on Miramar. But here, Gemty is going to be saying this very early and take this. Meanwhile, there's a crate coming down. Deez is already moving out. Deez is one of the players that are kind of just playing for this cup, the sake of this cup. Now that he's playing for Jokers, usually play with the PGA team. They're playing in Contenders in Phase 2. and he's a great player. Has done a lot of effort, actually. Played with a lot of European players and mixing with them to improve his English. And it's actually, over the last half year, very impressive of how much he has improved, because he wants this so bad, and he wants to be available both to the CIS teams and the EU teams in PEL and PELC. So this is very a high commitment from him. I like to see that. Very good player.
This game, you get out of it what you put in. And the grinders, we see them at the top. They're some of the biggest fraggers out there. I mean, hell, some of the streamers, you look, it's not just a name, it's not just a brand, but they're out there because they've been playing since day one. You know, there is an old-fashioned saying of who wants it more, but certainly what you put into it is what you get out. And some of these players that are rocking 5,000-6,000 hours on record, even more in certain cases. The proof's in the pudding, especially when you see some of the shots that they're landing. You need to know what you're doing with leading the guns, adjusting for the distance on some of these weapons. And again, rotations, you can't be just stupid doing random things. I'm surprised InsideGames left in there. It's a bit BM. You could have picked him up and give him a taxi, bro. Come on. I'm going to walk all the way down the hillside. I think
the call was to go get the car, get it safe, so hide it so we can get somebody to pull up on us so we can get some more points.
You drove past him.
What?
He literally drove past him.
Yeah, I know. He stopped, and I think there's a call. It's just to just go get the cars, just put them safe, and just hide.
It's Paul Erangel, that.
Oh, no, it's not. I think I like it. I like this strategy going into that. There's definitely a reasoning behind it. He didn't leave him behind just for the BM. That would have been great, though. I would have loved that. 3D Max, they're changing it up a bit. They're not going to be dropping on the road and taking all these cars, or they could have done that already and drive in there.
Uh-oh. See?
Coming in.
If he would have picked him up and took him to the building, he would have been out in the open. I told you. That should be an easy res. There'll be certain amounts of cover, I think, for FaZe to get out. I'm already seeing the smoke there, so he'll be behind the boxes for now. Tab clearly sharing a little bit of loot. Some information. Uber will scout up more towards where he's just realised where Jokers are actually playing off the back of. We've seen FaZe a few times go through this compound. I've actually saw them, I remember, specifically in Phase 1, removing the Knights from this position. A few times we've seen them fighting on the embankments. It's never seemed to go right for them, but hey ho, every single game's different. Angel Lenzo's had a beer. Unfortunately, the car's just paying off from it. And then tomorrow, when I think this is kind of what gets a little bit fun now. Ooh, Rory. I'll hold on that thought for a second.
Oh, this is going to blow up. Rory's gone.
Break would be disappointed.
I'm not sure Break would be that disappointed. Rotations are coming in, and that's unfortunately what happens. 2 dodges here for TSM. Early rotations, and shots are coming in from Liquid. G2 is also on the move, meanwhile, on this field.
It's all going to be a bit of a more quiet one. We've already seen quite a few teams central up on this circle. And again, this is what happens when there's quite a lot of islanding play. I want to say it's more straightforward for the simple fact. You're trying to get something going, all of a sudden we just see all these mid-fights going on. I was saying it's going to be quite straightforward, but teams are really relatively close to one another. Tab finds Brexico's face, and the call's there for Moon to continue it through. I mean, look at that. One knock from one player, and then all of a sudden the instant confirmation. So that first of all, the call comes through from one. Another player from the left-hand side goes through for the knock. And then we just see the finish. Kane's also falling down at the hammer here. And it's because they're so spread, Martin. They have full control of this hillside.
Yeah, they do. They already took this very early, and this is a big hill. I like to see kind of the play on this hill, but it can be very dangerous in the later stages. But this hill is used a lot for rotations, but you can see teams very easily just kind of walk up on them. But here, Liquid, they have stopped here, and they're going to be running onto and close to Jokers. Shots are going to be coming onto them, and Jokers need to be aware of this happening. Dempsey's going to take down Deez. It's going to be quick.
Oh, that was quick.
Crush as well. Woody has been found. He crushed straight into InsideGames here, and he's going to be dead as well.
I mean, I don't know about being found. He literally rocked up to 4 men who just complete. Oh my God, what?
That's a shrink and a half down towards the south. Obviously, now that the teams, they know that in not the next zone, but the zone after, the water is going to go out. So they're going to be centralizing up about 400 meters away from the water. And some of these areas already going to be taking, and we see it here. Obviously, we have a map stream, and you can tune into that as well. PL Esports _map.
That's insane.
And rotations are coming out already.
This is going to be a land grab now. This will be a huge dash. I've never seen anything as harsh as that. For the simple fact that it's gone towards the water, more importantly, unless Sosnovka in. You literally, out of all this circle, you couldn't have asked for anything worse. Now everyone will just beeline down towards the bridge. You have the crossroads where pretty much everywhere will meet. The gas station's looking quite good. It's not quite central, but at the moment, it's just get a foothold in. On the opposing side, more towards the north in the field, again, you'd have to kind of bank on it because the circle's going to push away from the water when we get to phase 4. There is a rather large compound, which I'm seeing Liquid have already got an eye line on, but several other teams are also getting towards that position. And as soon as I say that, Quizzy finds Ibby pulling up to the compound I mentioned. Uh-oh, Anime Bro knocks himself as he pulls up. The car confirms and getting out a little bit too early. But Liquid do lose one as they try and scout out a very valuable position. And this circle basically just forces everyone to play between beach and yellow cliffs.
It's kind of forcing us into kind of already phase 3, but with the water already eliminating a lot of play area. Erangel and Page are going to find some of the players from Seekorg. Sunsi and Fergus are going to go down. Let's see if they manage to confirm those kills as well. Meanwhile, Vard and Gaxi, they're going to be on the far western side here, close to Primorsk. Quickmath as well, to Yuho scouting. Zoekt and Naam are pushing onto the Seekorg guys, and this is happening in Georgiapol, in South George, just outside.
So my only kind of query I will say about people's positioning right now, a lot of teams, and again I suppose it's because the Jokers are ringing the alarm bell inside the Long Woods area just above the gas station, the petrol station, whatever you want to call it, just offside of the bridge.
Yeah.
All these teams like Winstrike, FaZe Clan and IG that are setting up on the beachhead, if the circle's not favorable, and it's going to move away from water, but if it doesn't hard shift back towards them, they will basically be up against the white, and they will have to play through the woods. The TSM move forward as well. As I'm saying this, and you might just see it in the distance, one member of Winstrike has decided to get a little bit greedy and cross the road into the opposing side. You can just see him by the scoreboard on the left-hand side. They're scouting out because it's the next few circles that are going to be the problem. You have to be preemptive here. Being on the beachhead isn't the best spot. It's good for survivability now because there's no one behind you. But in the later stages when this circle advances forward, where do you go from then? I mean, look at NIP, they're trying to find a space. Everywhere's already prime territory. Easy pickings for a few teams that are going to be set up. It's not a problem. Happily pull up on this compound, guns down, looking outside the windows, easy points.
Look at this. Them already out scouting. Winstrike, they have a compound, a decent compound, and Seekorg is meanwhile also going to be pulling up Balas. Philo is going to be found and exploded. Balas is the last player from Seekorg. And he's going to be driving straight towards FaZe Clan now. Pulling up on them. Look at this.
Yep.
Oh, and Mexi's going to find him. He's going to shoot him out of the car. And he's going to be done for. 1 kill, 1 point for FaZe Clan. No zone is going to pop. Oh, it's going to go north. And this is what we expected in phase 4. This is what is forced to happen in phase 4, but it already happened here. And this is going to open up a lot for a lot of the other teams.
And it opens up a lot of discussion now for the simple fact that all these teams that did bank on the beachhead. Ooh, this is interesting. Now, what have FaZe done? Mexi's holding the backline, so he's giving the alarm bell, telling everyone that's here. Gaxi goes down, NIP, they opt to just switch and drive up the front of the beach, but there is another player there on top of the hill. I think that's going to be Uber, who might be able to lay down the fire. 3 teams all in the same transition. TSM, this will be an open field day for them. There's going to be 3 teams pretty much walking up behind them. Quickmath there, Winstrike's there, NIP, this is complete madness. These circles, Martin, they are just throwing everything we know about PUBG into the wind, and all these teams just go crashing head on into one another. This is going to be absolute carnage.
Nuki jumped out, NIP won out. Vard jumped out. NBS, they're already taking the fight here versus Winstrike. NBS is the last player. Nades are coming out. This is a great nade. Probably going to explode a lot as well. Smokes are coming out. It's going to finish him off. NBS and NIP is going to be going down in 15th place here. I expected a vehicle explosion there, but I actually managed to stop and pull up here and get a knock onto Winstrike. And this is what's going to happen now. FaZe Clan is going to be moving on in that.
Winstrike's actually getting 1 player up, so he'll be up at 10% HP. He's trying to get a heal off, but FaZe have already pushed on them aggressively. I mean, while they're down, you might as well kick them, right? Don't give them any breathing room to get their resources back together. They've already lost 1 man during an early engagement. But FaZe, look at the spread. Tixu could be the savior here. Spots one off guard. 8C doesn't check his corner. 1 HP and a mere dream to try and stay alive. The grenade shouldn't confirm this one. However, he is very, very weak, but he has fallen back. And basically Winstrike, they're on red alert now as FaZe come walking up the hill.
FaZe is going to be pushing in this. Nades are coming in. And this is the meta as we know it, the utility meta. George them they're still inside. Tixer's been pulling back a little bit. FaZe Clan has a good kind of angle for this. They have a lot of trees to work with, and they're basically the one aggressing up on the hill. So they're going to be the one peeking. They're going to be one having the advantage from this. Winstrike knows this, so they're going to be pulling away. They're going to be taking a new position and try to get further into the new zone as they're currently fighting on the edge. Meanwhile, Sen, Zoekt and Naam, they're going to be fighting Mikas and finding him. This is a stalemate here. Quickmath is taking some of the compound away from TSM. Gustav, Michael, and Wookie, they're currently sitting on the eastern side of it. The next zone is very, like the face is very close to it. Lassa, though, is going to find an M249 at full level 3 for himself.
NLT are in that central farm compound. We've got Stella just off the backside on the hillside where you can see into the top of the compound, but there is an option to be able to back off into the woods, so they deny line of sight. However, Stella need to be really careful because IG's directly behind them. For us, up in the top, you did just see a player looting a crate. That's going to be easy pickings. TSM, they're going to fight a battle of their own. Quickmath are in the same compounds as they are, but they are limited to these 2 back compounds and pretty much squishing a couple of grenades to do the job. Wookie has taken the off angle, but the problem is there is no elevated line of sight. For Quickmath, they have quite a lot of breathing room compared to TSM. Really, this is such a difficult one to get out of both of these teams. Whatever one comes out on top, you would expect to have some kind of damage, or at least 1 or 2 players. That car might be the bait they needed, as Quickmath do have a player on the ground.
This is the push they have to make. We have 30 seconds. The zone pushed away from them, and the team fighting for this. Oh, this is a nice nade. It might knock Michael. Not going to be close enough. It didn't cook it enough. But the zone move away. If it's centralized up nicely, Winstrike is going to be fighting FaZe Clan just a bit later. But here, Quickmath and TSM, they're going to be fighting for this outside the zone. Whoever wins this is going to be having. They're going to be in a hurry to get into the zone and finding another spot to play. So this is a play for point right now.
G2, another team goes down. Rather unfortunate 14th placement for them. On your screens, 4 rows will try and stay alive. They made it to the center of the circle, but there's not a great deal to play with. IG still going toe-to-toe against Stella. One player's already been knocked from the back lines of the K98. FaZe Clan still a battle on several different fronts here, trying to find the remnants of what's left over from the earlier battles. Winstrike have been involved in 3 different fights now. Their gear, their durability is going to be bent, broken, and damaged. Their economy will also be looking rather lackluster. They've had to use quite a lot of utility, grenades, frags, whatever, smoke to try and keep them alive. Stella, back to the fight earlier on. Jamaway is down. Cat is there as well. He isn't finished off or confirmed. Ziggsy answers back. Zampeak, he hits the dead. Kaz is still about 25% HP. Smokes are up. Give them an eye line of where they are. We'll go to a different angle here. This is wonderful. Ziggsy unfortunately gets punished for it though. Hitrick sees him. That's a different team altogether. That 3D match. Moment comes around the corner. And all of a sudden, Stella are looking not so stellar after all. Kaz might be the last man standing here. Comes out the smoke. Gets caught. Down he goes. Not down and out just yet. It's really a battle to see who can the last team standing and get themselves back together. There will be resources on the floor to pick up off the body boxes. Of course, 6 times. Gets the job done. No confirmation just yet. Trying to hide away from this one. There is a fire back as Stella do go down in 13th place. Unfortunately, Rustam he hits the deck as well. And he's dead. Yamash confirms the easy one. Inside the cabin, though, how long can you really last from here?
Uber's going to have the angle. Look at this. Uber took a position down in the glass house. He took one of the bikes, drove into the glass house. What a clutch play. He found Tixu, and Tem is going to be finished as well, securing those points. Meanwhile, Jorski, he's going to be left in this little shack here. Mexi's 100% aware of his position right now, and FaZe is going to be pushing as well into the zone, further confirming this. Now just waiting and gatekeeping this for later. Meanwhile, the Quickmath fight and TSM fight they've split up.
That nade.
Nades are coming in though. This is a good nade, double nade for Squeak. It's going to take Misa down, and Wookie's going to find into Lenzo. That's completely wiped in just 1 second for Quickmath. They're going to be going out in 12th place. Mexi though, how?
He was looking at this for so long.
I was sure he was aware that he was in there.
You said it, but there were several times that he turned his back and looked the other way. And from a player at that level, you wouldn't turn your back on a player you knew was in there. So he must have been double questioning himself for the simple fact that you don't just... I mean, yeah, it is what it is. He goes down, and it's quite surprising, to be honest. I'm very surprised he didn't deal with that one in the shack. With how many smokes were there, but The door was blown off and he never showed his face, so maybe he just kind of essentially baited him. But FaZe Clan, they do lose one, and now they have to go toe-to-toe with IG. They've already dealt with Stella. And here comes another battle. Up front, up center, Uber goes down, hits the deck 3 times, does the job on the back of the M4. He's crawling with his teammates. There's 2 down here for FaZe. Last man standing alive. The nades inside the shack. There's 2 players there. Bye-bye, Jokers. As their players, unfortunately, are just falling by the wayside. First FaZe will be, I believe, the last man standing for FaZe Clan.
And it's going to be in now Winstrike. Jorski here taking some shots, counter shots at it. FaZe has gone away. And FaZe is trying to make away from this. This is a very nice push and very nice gatekeep from InsideGames. They had a kind of a high ground position from it. And FaZe is forced to move away and forced to move away from this zone here. Zone is going to start moving soon. Now InsideGames, they're going to be pushing onto this. They want to confirm these kills. Jorski has been spotted though. He's going to be found. Nice headshot from Zenix. And he's going to be finished off. That is Winstrike out in 11th.
Snake in the grass. AKM does a fair amount of damage. I'll say that actually, no it didn't. It did about 25%. Has to be careful, this K98 though. Goes for the single tap fire. Smokes are going to be up.
9 smokes. He had 9 smokes.
Which is actually ridiculous, to be fair, when you think about it.
Yep.
However, he'll build himself a wall, which gives him a little bit of coverage now to be able to run into this circle. But FaZe, I know you're a god. I know you have one of the most beautiful beards I've ever seen. Really, what can you do against all these people just staring you down and waiting for you to make the wrong move?
Squeak is going to be found. That is ENCE down in 10th place. Ooh, that's a nice headshot there from Zenix. Nate's Gustav's going to find him across there. And that's a 400-meter shot with the SKS. Just found him. TSM is going to be moving further into the zone. Ival's going to be found as well. This is a push from Jokers. Or not a push, it's a shot from him coming out the tap. And the push from Zoekt and Naam trying to get into the zone. TSM as well trying to get into the zone. Gustav's going to hit the deck and try to heal. They already pre-emptied these smokes. Trying to get into the zone, push further in. But NLT has had this compound for a long time. I believe since phase 2. And they're still inside, putting a lot of pressure onto the remnants of this lobby.
And to be fair, they deserve it because they actually fought off Liquid. Liquid is in the same transition path as them going towards that. Wookie does find the taps. Another point go the way of TSM. IG now move back onto him. TSM, bye, my friends. 7th place will be their name on the tombstone. They're gone. IG get the job done. And they continue just laying down the hammer to teams out in the open. 4 us will be the next victim. Vaxu finds Noki. That's him with the the SLR. Nice cheeky headshot as he peeks out of the cabin. He should have stayed inside, my friend. Actually inside the zone, so a little bit overzealous and a little bit cheeky, but it goes their way finally. Now NLT, they've had this compound for so long, Martin. You called it right from the very start. They fought many teams off to get a hold of it with 4 men up. However, they now need to come out and get inside the circle. 1-2 teams already directly in front of them. 2 members of Team Liquid, 2 members of 4 us. And then all of a sudden you've got this lingering demon in the background. The beast that is IG, just waiting for them to make the first move.
Yeah, meanwhile, Phantom and the guys from 3D Max, again, 4 players alive. In the northern side of the zone, and we have only 6 teams and 22 players standing. 3D Max fully aware of Sen's location here, and they're outside the zone, and they have an angle, and they already have Wacko inside the zone, so they can play this very aggressively and gatekeep the players from Zoekt and Naam. Only 1 kill this game so far, but they're playing this very clinically. Very well played for them so far.
Just want to point out a really nice play here. IG have taken the vehicles to the crate that was inside the zone. They're actually building a fort around the crate, which we have seen before. I remember seeing Winstrike do it in their very final game where they cleaned it out against G2. They're using that box to basically be a building block. They're putting them all around. It makes them a fort because they know NLT have to come out and move to them. Several of the players are actually going deeper into the circle. I mean, fair play. You're splitting in a 2-2, so you're essentially splitting resources. But when you have these vehicles and you can build these dips, take out the tires, and give yourself, basically, create cover inside these fields, it could pan out. Many of the players will basically just have to play off the side of the ditches and all the little hills with inside. Run along all these fields. Zoekt to Naam, player by player, bullet by bullet. Unfortunately, they are just being picked apart from several different angles.
Yeah, meanwhile, Liquid, they're still inside this shack here. They're going to be playing it for some time. 4 odds, they have a very good spot on them. Zoekt and Naam is going to go out in 6th place. Seekorg is going to find Quizzy from NLT, though. NLT is trying to make their way, and this is a very nice area. It's kind of deceiving. It looks very flat, but the eastern side actually has some elevation, so they can work with this. Noki, though, found Samty from Liquid. Waggo found Zenix though.
Yeah, that's probably getting a little bit too overzealous there and focus fire on one team. I didn't realize Liquid actually had 3 members up here. So they're just conserving everyone inside this little hut.
Having some nice cover outside as well.
Yeah, the vehicle, even though it's blown up and can't do anything, it does stop a certain amount of grenades more than it is just having a completely blown off door. So if they parked it there purposely, a bit of a 9,000 play. I saw a player individually with level 3 gear as well, which gives him a small part of survivability, I want to say. The wall is continuously being built over here for IG, just lining them up and pre-smoking, but the circle is not favorable to them whatsoever. James bleeding out behind the shack. He's going to be bait. Now the question is, do they let him go or do they go for the revive? It's a questionable one. They have to get around the vehicle, and I think they may have just done it.
I'll go for it. The safe rest call has been made. Perfect 1 kill steal, I believe. It is from Northern Lights. That's the way I would say it as well. Could also be X, but perfect at least. Some perfect shots he's been doing so far. Genty with some counter pressure onto these. FaZe is going to be found. That's Shaxi, and now FaZe is kind of in the middle of everything. They're going to be receiving a lot of shots and a lot of fire from all these dudes that's going to be around them, because basically just taking so much attention. Gracie's going to find Odstra Lovac from InsideGames. Look at this 3D Max here. Very clinical approach. I really like to see this. FaZe, a lot of pressure onto Team Liquid. Teams has been found again. Sampeek's gone down. Informations are coming out. Waggo's going to find Sampeek, and he's going to be finished off as well. This is such an amazing play by 3D. Oh. Liquid's going to be found, and they're going to be going on in 5th place.
Jimty gets botted. The circle will tend to hurt, but with the gear that he was wearing, he couldn't really do too much. That nade has bounced rather far. Good lord, how the hell are you alive? Saw 249, which recommends that he's wearing level 3 gear as well, so nade won't do any durability damage to that. Take a few bullets on the...
Remember I said they had 1 kill moving into the later stage. They have 9 now. And they're absolutely putting the hammer down on everybody else. They're taking so much aggressiveness here. Jumping on top of cars. Also focusing on the same teams that the rest of the lobby is focusing on, but they just managed to get these kills, managed to get all of these points, just gather them like it's just the points in the basket.
I mean, I know they've got a northern edge of the circle here, Martin, but I think there has to be a lot to be said for adrenaline and when you're feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys have been playing incredible so far.
Nades are going to come out here. Waggo do have 4 nades, and he's cooking a few of them. Some nades come out.
What's the play for 3D Max? Do they hold point here, or do you think they get involved in these?
Oh, well, the next circle is we're gonna have a next circle. That's a nice nade there. Waggo is gonna find Shaxi. They're gonna have to get involved here. More nades are gonna come out. Waggo's found Shaxi. That's a killing spree. 5 kills so far for Waggo. He's gonna be top fragging by the end of the day, that's for sure. Lassa has to hit the deck again and heal. These level 3 vists must soon be gone. They've had this location for a very long time, played it very well for us, but now there's a few teams and they're gonna be encroaching on them.
At the moment, 4US are basically a magnet, and everyone's just been drawn to their attention. And the circle actually gives them central point here. So if they weren't a magnet before, they damn well are now. The biggest problem for 3D Max is there's 2 different angles they need to be aware of, and an M24 planted in the chest. There is a bit of a response, which forces him back. No tag, but certainly a warning shot nevertheless. NLT have just been gifted the edge of the circle, good lord, so they can hold point for now and keep 3 alive for whatever they do.
Both InsideGames and 3D Max, they're forced to move in, and they're going to be moving in kind of over a hill, so now they're going to be taking shots from FaZe. Nuggy's going to be coming in, he's going to take shots out of the car, he's going to be knocked by Lasado, finished off as well. Waggo's going to find Apocalypse, and oh, that's going to be 3D Max, they're going to be done. But they did manage to find a few kills. Apocalypse has been knocked, and this is the time for NLT to make a move, I feel like.
I mean, I respect the attempt, hanging out the side of the passenger seat with an AKM, but in this level, I mean, what else can you really do? I suppose the desk will be able to see if there are other ways to approach that one. It was certainly rather aggressive just to send vehicles into this point. But then again, when it's so open, really, everyone's just trying to stay alive and do whatever they can. A team that was just being completely bombarded with the grenades in the point of 4US is now sitting so happy it's ridiculous. The circle went their way. They are center. Everybody has to come to them. And NLT and IG on the outskirts are just kicking the living hell out of one another.
Yeah, weakening each other. FaZe is playing it very well here. They're just laying low, waiting for it. InsideGames has also got 10 kills. FaZe has 7 kills. There's so many kills for the top teams. They're basically taking down half of the whole server here. Perfect. Pushing on with this nade here. This is a lot of fire. You need to take some cover now. He's going to hit the deck. Double nade onto mid-turn. Lasta though. Pixel's going to find enemy log throw, and now they'll be pushing onto this. He's going to find. Was that a finish? InsideGames is down in third. And he just hit Apocalypse down to nothing, and then Quizzy and Perfect both on 7 HP.
Well, this has just gone from good to bad for FaZe.
Oh, he found him, Quizzy.
Oh, that's it now.
With
That
a
should be
shot.
job
Oh,
done.
that's a well played here. And this is what Dave has been asking for the whole day. A Northern Lights game, a Northern Lights win. And this is on time for them. They're sitting down in the 14th place up until then. And they're going to be having a lot of kills and the 10 points from the win from this.